Welcome to Business Class. I'm Steve Ekstrom from Learn Tourism, a nonprofit academy dedicated to advancing the tourism industry through innovative training and sustainable practices. Our mission? To empower travel professionals and communities with the knowledge they need to create meaningful, authentic, and sustainable tourism experiences. Ready to join us on this journey? Visit learntourism.org and start making a difference today.
We are in an industry that evokes emotion and passion and excitement. We're in the memory making business.
Welcome back to Business Class, the podcast where we explore the minds of tourism industry leaders shaping the future of travel. I'm Stephen Ekstrom, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with someone whose passion, leadership, and commitment to our industry are truly inspiring. My guest today is Julie Coker, President and CEO of NYC Tourism and Conventions. Julie is a powerhouse in the world of destination marketing, with an incredible career spanning leadership roles in Philadelphia, San Diego, and now New York City, arguably one of the most dynamic tourism destinations on the planet. Julie has spent her career advocating for the power of tourism, not just as an economic driver, but as a force for connection, cultural exchange, and opportunity. She believes, as she put it so well, that we are in the memory-making business. And in a city that welcomes millions of visitors from around the world, ensuring that those experiences are meaningful, inclusive, and unforgettable is at the heart of her mission. In this conversation, we'll talk about New York's evolving tourism landscape, the power of community engagement, workforce development, and what it takes to lead a world-class destination through constant transformation. Julie also shares personal insights about her journey in hospitality, her leadership philosophy, and how she envisions the future of travel. So whether you're a tourism professional, a business leader, or just someone who loves New York, you're going to want to hear this one. Let's dive in.
I sold my house and everything in it and decided to be a nomad. So I've been traveling all over North America in a van with my dogs, and it's just an adventure.
How long have you been doing this?
A little over 3 years.
That's awesome. I've heard of people doing it during COVID because they had the opportunity to. Do you just love it?
It's a fantastic adventure, and I'll tell you the two greatest lessons. Number one is that I'm a professional tourist now. So as much as we learn about the visitors who are coming to see us, the visitors learn about us while they're visiting.
Hmm.
Uh, and that has been an eye-opening experience. Just the perspective of essentially traveling while staying in place because you're learning about the people who come to see you.
Yeah,
Uh, the second lesson is to be present in the moment
sure.
because I'm not likely to be in the same spot again in the
Yeah,
near future. So just take a moment and enjoy where you're at.
yeah. That's
So
big.
if you weren't in San Diego or New York City, where in the world would you live?
Amsterdam.
That was really quick. What stands out to you about Amsterdam?
So my sisters and I did a riverboat cruise, and it was the first time that I had done a riverboat cruise, but I just felt very welcoming. It was easy to assimilate there. They have life down, like they just don't take it too serious. Clearly, they work hard, and it's obviously a productive and thriving economy, but they also have the art of, I think, work life balance down. And similar to what you were just saying, they really know how to be present and in the moment, whether it is, I think first of all, what a riverboat affords you, because every day you're in a different village. And literally as you know, from a riverboat, like you pull up and you're right in the neighborhood, like you're right in someone's home. It's not a port that's farther away. You're right in the heart of the neighborhood and you can walk 2 blocks and you're there. And I found the first 2 days of before we boarded the cruise, it didn't really matter what neighborhood or what coffee shop or what restaurant we went into. Everyone just seemed to be one very positive. And this was 2022. Not all countries, cities were fully out of COVID yet, but they seemed to find the best of the situation. It was just very refreshing. It was literally the first vacation that I had taken since COVID. So to go there and have folks say, you know what, just breathe. Life is good. It's not all stress that it has to be. I would definitely say that I could at least spend 6 to 8 months in Amsterdam, similar to your travels. I'd still travel, especially if I was retired, but I could see spending the majority of my time in Amsterdam.
How would you like your staff to describe you?
Committed, flexible, innovative, transparent, the term servant leadership, and fun. What we do is fun. Or even on our worst days, it's got to be something fun about that day.
And we have several mutual friends in the industry that I've known for almost as long as you have, going back 20 something years with some of these cases. And they've described you as real, innovative, thoughtful, and kind.
Wow.
How would people who know you from outside of work describe you?
No nonsense, probably direct, definitely lover of all things hospitality. They know that I absolutely love and adore this industry, and it comes out in everything I do, whether I'm sitting on a nonprofit board or representing the organization I'm working for. Um, they would also say committed. I'm the diehard. I'm going to stay in and fight till the end. I am loyal. I'm going to see it through. Might be a little shaken here or there, but I'm gonna finish. I am a finisher. I'm a finisher.
What, when you were, as you were growing up, what did you think you wanted to be as an adult?
My father was a sixth grade math and science teacher, and my mother was a social worker. And we lived in Wilmington, Delaware, so small city. And we thought, my sisters and I, two of them were going into medicine. There's 5 years between my older sister, and then there's 3 years between my middle sister. And Laurie was gonna be a nurse and Joan a physician. And so we thought, I'm going to medicine as well. And so the 3 of us would work in this office. We didn't clearly define what type of medicine, but the 3 of us would work together. My mom probably leaned more into me being an attorney because everything with me was a business case. I had an opinion and an argument for everything. It didn't matter. It started in like second grade as to why I didn't think I had to pledge allegiance to the flag. It was because someone told me to do it and I didn't want to do what I was told. It was just that simple. And I had a reason why I didn't want to take a nap with the rest of the kids. So I always had a case behind it. My mom thought that I wanted to be an attorney. I really didn't think about hospitality until my 2 best friends and my boyfriend were a year older than me in high school. And I was a junior in high school. And I said to my mom, I need to get a job because idle time. And I took a position as a server. And I still remember making my mom sit at the table. And I came home, and this was, of course, back in 1985. Had the pads where you wrote down the people's order. And so they had given me this pad to study in the menu. So it was a restaurant called Mr. Steak, and I had to write down her order. I made her sit there while I practiced bringing over the plates and the silverware and taking her order. That's how you interviewed as a server back then. I met with the manager. And so from there was just something about, honestly, the art of servitude and the art of service that I just really loved. I loved this restaurant. People came in for birthdays, special occasions. Sunday afternoon was probably our busiest day. Being in high school, I only worked 1 day a week, and the Saturdays and Sundays. And I just loved being a part of that person's memory. So if it was grandma's 80th birthday and I was serving that table, I felt like I was a part of that. And I liked that feeling. And that's when I knew I wanted to go into hospitality. I didn't know what we called it. And a guidance counselor at high school told me, program, Johnson and Wales. You can get a degree. Originally, yeah, I was either going to be an attorney or I wanted to work with my sisters in medicine.
What's something that has surprised you about living in New York?
I always knew that New York was a global city. Fred and I, Dix and I were certainly are good friends. And so I would obviously hear him speak at different meetings and talk about New York City being the number one port of entry for international visitors. But to live in the city, whether a Starbucks or whether it's Whole Foods or on the subway, to hear the different languages that are spoken in all different settings. So it's not just Rockefeller Center around the tree at tourist, it's throughout the neighborhoods. It's again like at Whole Foods. And really, New York City is a global city. And the way that we are positioned, especially in this industry, such a huge part of the global economy. I've been in other large cities. Philadelphia is the fifth largest city, worked for Hyatt in Chicago, and it's the third largest city. San Diego is the eighth largest city. The role that California in general plays the economy, the fifth largest economy in the world. But to be in New York City, financial capital, and what the international global economy connection, you read about it, but to hear it and experience it is completely different. And that was surprising to me in a positive way. The multiple languages spoken, the diverse culture in the city has just been a welcome surprise to me.
When I walked out of my apartment, I would hear at least 10 different languages on my way to work. And what that did for me was build a recognition that we're all the same. We're all looking to have a good meal, see something interesting, learn something new, have our kids grow up better than we did, and all of these things. And it's a fantastic equalizer. You're sharing the subway with somebody who's making 10 times what you do, or 10 times less.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What do you look for in the people that you hire?
Integrity, a thirst for learning because our industry is rapidly changing as many are. And so constantly looking to learn and understand and grow and evolve is important. Sometimes people are described as their best years are behind them. I want those folks that have the best years ahead of them to complement those that are more seasoned in our industry. I really want them to love what we do. We're not an industry that you can just come in and work 8 hours a day and go home. It, you, it's who you are. It's going to the subway and there's an advertising for a Broadway show or a new restaurant, and that catches your eye. That gets you excited. Or if you're traveling abroad or domestically, God, their signage is amazing. It was so easy for a tourist to find their way. Like I want those things. And I'm not saying I want you to work 24 hours, but I want those types of things to excite you and for you to notice it because we're not in an industry that's just widgets. Whether you're at a convention and a Pulitzer Prize winner is the speaker or this award winning or world renowned physician is giving a talk, or whether you're here for a girls' weekend or whether you're here for a graduation of a family member or it's your first international visit, a destination is a part of helping make and shape memories. You really should love what we do. That doesn't mean that you love every single day. There's going to be good and bad days. But at the core of what we do, you have to love this industry. I do want to work with people who are kind. I really do. I think that matters. We can be efficient. I'm the first person to say I want to drive results. I say often work hard and play hard. I definitely want people who are serious and understand the fiscal responsibility that we have. But I do want people who are kind and I want people who are fun and life should be fun. There's always a reason to smile. Always.
Do you have a favorite quote?
I do. It is on my desk. It says, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Dr. Martin Luther King. And I apply that to everything I do, whether that's a fight that a DMO in a whole nother city or state is fighting for their relevancy. I want to help them if I can. The very core of travel and tourism, I think we saw that in COVID, is that it is a right. It is a to be able to travel and explore and understand and learn different cultures. And that's something that's worth fighting for. And so, whether there's times that travel, some try and use travel as weaponization, we need to stand up against that. But I'm for that little guy. I've always been for that underserved, that person who doesn't have a voice. Sometimes we have a platform for. Fundamentally, who I am as a person, that quote speaks to me. And then my other fun quote is work hard and play hard. Like I'm all for all going all in for it. And then also taking time to just enjoy and get back and relax.
One of my favorite quotes is Maya Angelou. Do
Mhm.
the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better.
Yeah.
Uh, What is something that you're trying to learn so that you can do it better?
And it's just going to be really work related. So I think we had a moment during COVID where all eyes were on our industry and it was being talked about at a national and international level. And that we are an essential industry and we have to get our hotels back open and we've got to get people traveling again. And here we sit 5 years later and we are still seeing policies and actions that are counterproductive to travel and tourism. And so I'm trying to desperately learn, not even just on a city and state level, but what resonates with people to understand that travel is essential for a whole host of reasons, for the economic benefit, for workforce development, for mental being. And so I'm really trying to figure out how we can get that message across in a better way so that we're not constantly having to rethread this needle, that it is just an automatic, that you understand the value and respect the value of tourism. In most of our major economies, major cities, we are the top one, two, three, four, or five industry, but we're not treated as such, and we should be.
Before we dive back in, a quick word from our sponsor, Learn Tourism, the nonprofit academy, where we're dedicated to transforming the tourism industry with four key services: our cutting edge learning experience platform, which offers robust analytics and seamless updates, our custom course development, which ensures tailored learning solutions, subject matter experts who provide deep insights and valuable knowledge, and of course, our engaging speakers who are here to inspire and educate with impactful presentations. Discover how we can elevate your tourism education at learntourism.org.
What's something you wish more people would ask you?
Probably I would say the intrinsic benefits of travel. We know all the stats about the economic benefit, economic impact, and the jobs numbers. But really, at the core of it, it's people to people connection. And to me, the benefits of travel, again, regardless of purpose of trip, meetings, conventions, international or domestic leisure, feeds your soul in a way that no other activity can. Whether it's in a restaurant and you meet a family or a local tells you a story about that destination that you had no idea. And maybe it's a place you'll visit, or maybe it's just a fact you'll pass on, or a different view or opinion you'll have. But travel opens up a whole new world for people. And so I wish people would ask me more of those reasons. Oftentimes in interviews, And certainly in media, I'm always quoting numbers because we should, and to show the economic impact and value. But what does it mean to be a kid as I was? My mom took me to my first Broadway show in New York. That was absolutely life changing. I will forever remember and still remember to this day. Those are the things that just shape who you are as a person. And hopefully, the cultural exchanges also open our minds and at some point our hearts to be better human beings.
I would agree with you wholeheartedly. We have just a couple minutes left. Is there something I didn't ask that you wish I did? Or while you're thinking of that, what mark would you like to leave on the organization you're working for now?
New York City is already a world class destination. And the leaders who have sat in this chair before me have done amazing work through very difficult times here in New York, going back to the war in the early 90s, and then certainly the financial crisis in 2008. And of course, 9/11. This city has always proven to be resilient. And so through it all, New York and the travel and tourism industry has continued to reinvent itself and certainly push forward. So that's definitely a part of the legacy that I want to continue. I also really want to continue to push international visitation. When we say that we are the number one point of entry for international visitors to the US, it's a stat that we're proud of, but it's also a responsibility that we take very serious. And I want your first experience or first impression of the US, if it's here in New York City, to be the absolute best. I want you to feel like you landed on soil where you are welcomed and you are valued and you are appreciated. And we want you to love this country as much as we do and learn about our history and learn these neighborhoods. The priority for me, international visitation. And then the other is to expand on the work of the five boroughs. Obviously, everyone knows Manhattan, and that's what you think of when you think of New York City. But to think of, I want you to equally think of the Bronx and Brooklyn and Queens and Staten Island and all of the boroughs in New York City that really give you the heart and soul of what the city is made of. You need all of those five history connections, people, the culture, the conversations, the meals to really experience New York City. And then lastly, I think we have to continue to elevate. You may have been to New York City for a Broadway play or for Fashion Week or for some other conference, but I really want you to come back and I really want you to explore the New York City that we all love as New Yorkers living here. I want you to go to the neighborhood restaurants. I want you to try something you haven't tried before because New York is a city where you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. And so if you're going to try it here, there's no limit to innovation in this city. I want visitors to know we are a destination that you can do that in. Yeah.
I think that'll be a great round out for the interview. I have just a couple things that I want to ask you first or mention to you first. As an organization and as a nonprofit, we are focused on education. So that means we do curriculum development, instructional design. We have organizational psychologists on our team. We provide technology for online learning if organizations are going to deliver training online. We collect nerds in the industry. So we have folks that can come and speak and teach. I know NYC pretty well, and I know your organization pretty well. There are a number of ways that I think we can help you. And I just want to plant the seed for a conversation you're probably going to have internally later on. Training residents to be
Mhm.
advocates, training frontline workers to be ambassadors, training your staff to be better at their professions, which are skill sets, training business partners to onboard and to be part of the tourism economy, and training advisors, agents, operators, meeting planners, and lead generation. In my experience, all of those things, if they happened, all happen within their silos. We can actually provide you with the technology to have it happen in one place much more efficiently and the insight on how people really do learn so that it can be more effective. So when that conversation comes up about the stakeholder training or the resident training or,
Mhm.
how do you more than 20 people to learn this particular skill this month?
Yeah.
We do it at scale.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Not at this point. I'm still digging in and learning.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been, I think, 82 days. Still taking it all in. I was literally just on the subway last night and I went to the Brooklyn game. So I'm in Brooklyn. I don't even really count it because I took the train, went to the game, got back on the train. But when I was walking to the train, coming out of the subway, I said to my girlfriend, a high school friend, I said, look at this. Look at the lights and look at the action in Brooklyn. I said, this could be Times Square. I'm so excited about learning more about the city and really digging in and getting to know more about it. I was at City Field Monday in the construction with the new MLS stadium that's coming up, and then the housing, the affordable housing that's right there. And should I think it's Cohen is their owner, get the one of the casino licenses, that's going to transform that entire area. And to think that a city of this scale is still able to find pockets of neighborhoods to have that kind of transformation is just amazing. And then you look at Hudson Yards and what was there before and what's there now. So still just digging in and learning about the city. But yeah,
One of the things that you'll notice is that it's a city of small neighborhoods. And in
yes,
your day to day, whether it's going to the grocery store or getting out of the train or the walk to work, you're going to run into the same people. I lived in Midtown, so I would run into Fred and Jay Kimbrough, if you knew Jay before that, and all these folks. I would run into them constantly because we all operate in the same circles, and it's really fascinating that way.
yeah, I'm learning more and more every day, but it's a big, complex city. At the end of the day, it's little things that still matter. So people in my building, just like you said, they want a good school for their kids to go to. They want streets to be safe. They want streets clean and safe. They want to like their neighbors. As big as the city is with whatever, we have 8 million people, it still comes down to just small pockets of communities that make up the city. I think it's the greatest city in the world. I 100% love it. And I came to the city at the right time, personally and professionally. I don't know that I would have appreciated it had I been here 10 years ago, but at this stage, I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I do. I love it.
If you have just a couple minutes, I want to ask you about that. What makes you ready for the city at this point that you weren't ready for 10 years ago?
10 years ago, I think I'd say a couple of things. One, with Hyatt, I had the opportunity to live in the Midwest primarily. So being able to be a part of Chicago and that whole ecosystem, and then also in Ohio, Columbus, and Cincinnati, and then come back to the East Coast in 2007 and be in Philadelphia, and then just at the right time move to the West Coast. So San Diego was the first time that I had worked and lived on the West Coast. All of those things really prepared me to work in a city with 8 million people and constant motion. New York City is in constant motion, and working and living in those other cities prepared me to be in this city. And having gone through COVID in 2 cities, because I started COVID in Philadelphia and then rounded it out in San Diego, and being in Columbus, Ohio when, there was the war, and then also being in Chicago in 2008 or 2007 for the financial crisis. So all of those things really prepared me for a city that is in constant motion. I don't know that 10 years ago, if I had say, let's say gone from Philly to New York or Chicago to New York, that one, I would have appreciated all that New York has to offer. But I'm in this city and with this organization at a time in my career where it's going to sound crazy, but I want to give back. And this is a huge job, but I really do. I'm not looking to climb like I was 10, 15 years ago. I want to be in a city that I can really be a part of the fabric of that city, but I'm also in an organization that still challenges me. The industry for 35, 40 years now, to still have both in one city is rare. So it's feeding my soul on a personal level, and it's also challenging me on a professional level. And those two things are exactly what I should be doing at this point in my career, personally and professionally.
It took me a long time to realize that my passion is learning. And every opportunity that I have, whether it be in the city or out on the road somewhere, or even the work that I do, is all about learning. And I see that in your eyes, that it is learning about the organization, it's learning about the city, it's learning about the people. It's that I, if I could gift anybody anything, it would be a love for learning.
Yes, that's a great win. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's everything in terms of personal and professional growth. When
Yeah.
you have that thirst and love for learning it's it opens up so many doors, and it just helps you grow as an individual.
Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you.
Thank
If you ever
you.
have any questions or if there's anything I can help with, just give me a call. Um,
Absolutely.
if it's okay with you, I'll send a quick follow-up email. Just
Absolutely. Please do.
shares a little bit about who we are. And then when the time comes for those other conversations, know that I'm a friend.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I
And
appreciate it. How
enjoy. Get out there. I'm sure you're going to be out there and enjoying the city. You've been making all the stuff.
Yes, I'm heading over to the shed tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they have a cool exhibit that is closing on the 15th, so I'm getting in right under the wire, but it's
Yeah, that's the
um
Basquiat. And who was the other artist that worked on that? It was Basquiat and I don't remember, but it's really neat.
so I'm
So,
excited to go there. I think I'm gonna treat myself tomorrow night to a play. I feel like I deserve that.
yeah, why not?
I think I wanna see Outsiders.
Oh, that's a good one. That's gotten some really great reviews early on.
Yeah. I saw Gypsy, and I've seen Hell's Kitchen since I've been here, but Broadway is one thing because oftentimes in cities, you forget and you don't take advantage of what you have. I know in Philadelphia, I'd lived there for 8 years before I finally took, actually, and it was family, and we went and did a tour and saw the Liberty Bell and all of that. And you're in and out of the Constitution Center for events, and you don't even appreciate what you're seeing there. And same thing with the art museum. I was in the Philadelphia Art Museum for probably 20 events. And then finally, before I left, I actually walked through the art museum and really appreciated. And I said, what I will not do in New York is not take advantage of Broadway. So I'm committed. I'm definitely going to go
Curiosity, what neighborhood did you finding a place in?
right by
Okay.
Columbus Circle. So I'm right on 64th. It's a great location between like Central Park West and
Yep.
Broadway.
Okay.
So literally I walk out of my building, and if I go to the right, I can head over to Central Park. And if I go to the left, there's the beautiful Lincoln Center. I was at jazz at the Lincoln Center 2 weeks ago to see Diane Reeves. Amazing. But the sound was spectacular. And then a college friend was in town last weekend, and we went to the ballet on Sunday, Swan Lake. So it was beautiful. I
You know,
love that neighborhood though.
it's great. You know what they say? You can tell a lot about a person by the neighborhood they live in.
Oh,
So
I
you're up in,
like I like
you're
that.
arts and savvy and but still a little still down to earth and you're approachable, but you
Yeah.
love the finer things.
My first chamber music society concert, my neighbor, who I just happened to literally run into throwing out the garbage, she is the executive director and founder of the Lyric Chamber Music Society. And so she
Okay.
invited me. I had no idea what to expect. And it was an hour of absolutely amazing artists. There was a gentleman who played the piano. His wife was a violinist. There was amazing celloist. There was one song was a soprano who her voice was just, it was amazing. And I don't know that I would have honestly thought about chamber music on my own, but a very small, intimate group, 30 people.
Yep.
I loved it.
If that was interesting to you, the Trinity Church has a choir downtown that sings classical music. My ex was actually one of the singers in the choir for a while, but it's absolutely fantastic and
Okay.
and fascinating. Check them out too.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Brilliant up
sure.
at St. John the Divine.
I know what that is.
So
Oh, very cool. I haven't been to the World Trade Center, that observatory yet. I haven't been there, but I've seen the others. I've been to Empire State and obviously 30 Rock because our offices are now right here at Rockefeller Center. We moved in October. So we're here right at Rockefeller Center. So it's good.
thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. And I know we've gone over in time, but you are incredibly gracious. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Talk
Thanks.
soon.
Absolutely. Have a great day and a
Take
good
care.
weekend.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Sue. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Business Class. This episode was brought to you by Learn Tourism, the nonprofit academy where we advance the tourism industry with cutting-edge training and sustainable practices. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to visit learntourism.org to learn more about our programs and how you can get involved. Until next time, stay curious, continue learning and making a difference through tourism.